Hello and welcome back to the SEG MGA training classes. This one we're going to talk about leads and chargebacks and kind of show you real quick how to maintain that. It's pretty simple. My rule of thumb throughout the month is if basically their production has to be double what their leads are. So if they've got a $1,000 lead balance, they need to have at least $2,000 minimal on the book and production. I don't take post-dated checks into consideration. This is what's on the books. So you might have somebody that has a $1,000 lead balance and they might have like 1,800 production on the books and they say, well, I've got all this post-dated business. No, you don't count post-dated business, folks. You count checks and pending checks. That's it. You don't count initial withdrawals on Social Security debit cards or savings accounts. You don't count initial withdrawals on checking accounts because none of that stuff is for certain. If you start looking at all the initial withdrawal stuff in the future production and say, well, this guy's got this coming in, that's where managers get in trouble at. Go with what's actually on the books, what you can see. Now, when I first started, I would have really good months, and I'm not going to lie, I got a little bit lazy too, and my lead balances got a little bit high, and my boss actually had me send him a picture of the checks. If I wanted leads, I would have to send him a picture of a stack of checks, and that's how I would get my leads in the future. I would recommend doing the same thing with your agents. If their balances are double what their production is on the books, say, listen, I gotta see the production before I can go to my boss and get you leads. But even at that though, the actual lead balances, that is not what kills people when they've been here when they start managing and they start building a group. It's actually the chargebacks themselves from your agents writing big policies. Now, how you can correct that is first and foremost, if they start, you really have to keep track of the number of applications they write. It's not about the AP. If they say I wrote $1,800 today, you say, well, great, how many applications did you have? 1,800 in AP should be 3 or 4 applications. If they say it's 1 or 2, then what's happening is they're going out there and they're headhunting. They're getting big applications. They're getting the big commission up front. And that's going to bite you in the butt when they quit down the road, or this job becomes a little bit frustrating, like we all know it can sometimes, and they quit, and all of a sudden these huge policies fall off the books. Well, you're the one that eats that $800 commission that they took. So it's not the actual lead balances. I mean, if I get stuck with a $500-600 lead balance, I mean, it is what it is. I can go sell one policy and replace that. Where it gets really frustrating in the future is when you've got a rep who, let's say they were here for 2 months and they wrote 20 policies that were all $600 to $800, and they quit and they go join up with another company and they go replace that business, and all of a sudden you've got 6 policies on the books and you're paying $500, $600 a piece. All of a sudden you're eating $3,500 to $4,500 worth of debt. That's where it kills you at. So don't talk about AP with a new rep. Talk about how many policies you wrote. Off of each set of leads that you drop them, their first 3 months, you should know how many policies they wrote from each set of leads. And that comes from talking to them every single day, knowing what's going on, with their day-to-day activity. And when they tell you they sell, break it down. Don't. The AP is good. I mean, we always talk about AP with the group, but for a new rep, it's always about how many policies you wrote from that set of leads. Make sure that they're working referrals as well, and that'll obviously offset their lead costs. But that's the training session on leads and chargebacks. If you have any questions, let me know. Have a good one.